Hello everybody, welcome back. We are about to get underway with Stint 4, I think. Just waiting on the host to launch. There we go. See if I can get the timer working for this one. I've managed to set it up in my quick break. And it's just a case of trying to get the timing right. Which should be interesting. I hear engines. I see a black screen. I think they're underway. I can't see anything yet. Oh, they're slightly underway. Well, we have why did that not reset to? It was meant to reset to.
Hi, Jim.
I'm having issues. It reset when I practiced with it in Streamlabs. Damn it! Hi, Ted.
Alright, well, if you're wondering what's going on here, we are in the start of stint number 4. Jam is having some technical problems, so you'll have to deal with me for now.
Sorry, everybody.
Let me know once you have everything back to where it needs to be, Jam.
Everything seems to be working. It's just not quite. I wanted to get the. I'll wait roughly 5 minutes and then I'll start the timer again. 34.
Oh my goodness.
It's about 5 minutes ahead. I don't know how to reset it. When I played with it on Streamlabs, it was. Damn. How do I reset?
Well, while we figure that out, we do seem to have had a pretty decently clean start here. No real position changes or desperate lunges so far. Everyone seems to be behaving themselves as we go through the lap for the first time here. As I say that, Riker almost destroyed the back of APR sideways and is now very side-by-side with Mr. Sunshine for third. And Sunshine clears him in the Viper. You alright there, Jam?
I think so. I'm just annoyed at the timer. I wanted to get it working and it's now frozen, apparently.
Frozen in time.
I'm really confused. I don't like this timer thing. It was working on Streamlabs. Anyway, yeah, we'll ignore it. We'll just get to watching.
Well, you know the saying, right? To err is human, but to really mess things up requires a computer.
With me, that's a common occurrence.
That's a thing.
I must admit, I had not heard that saying before.
Yeah. Well, my dad was a programmer when I was growing up, so I heard all kinds of fun computer mockery sayings. Yeah, but how about, this is the first night stint. We've seen a bit of drama so far in the first 6 hours of the race.
A bit?
That's
not a
uncharted. This is going to be a new experience for all these drivers.
Right.
What do you think we're going to see?
Oh, we've already just seen a rear wing go flying and then sideways crashed. I'm sure that's what I saw out the corner of my eye. How did the rear wing go off before the impact?
I'm trying to figure that out myself, but I don't see any damage on telemetry. So I'm thinking that was just some weirdness. I don't know. Nothing visually is wrong. Very strange.
Yeah, that's not the first reasonably sized impact we've seen go unpunished damage-wise. That's an odd one.
And he's gotten away with it. So he can't be too mad, but that's just bizarre.
Oh, that was running wide there by Coney Rags. APR White making him pay for that little mistake there, jumping up ahead into 7th position.
That's APR White, not driving in another APR car, instead doing the, for lack of a better term, all-star car with Nathal Chungus et al.
Is there 2 Audis in SPX in A lobby?
There's only one. Oh God, what is happening here? If you jump up ahead a little bit, Jam,
I've just seen that.
The battle for yes position. There is a brick of cars, and you are correct. There are 2 TTs there. It looks like.
Kills in the other one.
but I thought I was watching NASCAR for a moment there.
Oh, up the inside from Knockkill on Bradders. Didn't quite make it work there. Now he's looking to the outside, is he? Doesn't look like he has an overlap. I'm going to jump forward another couple of cars, because that's
the fight we want to be on here.
This is absolutely the fight we want to be on. Zoom out a little bit. And just sit back and enjoy.
Now, if you're Knockhill right now, you're going to be absolutely suffering behind that R8, because the R8, the way it's balanced, it is a monster on the straights. Just you can see the gap starting to open up. And all of the Audi TT's time is made up on slow corners and the tightest sections of the track. The problem is, if he catches up to the back of the R8, it understeers so much, he's not going to be able to sneak up the inside because the R8 has to use all the road just to stay on the track. That is a really, really difficult matchup for Knockhill. It's going to be hilarious for Braddard. He doesn't have to do anything. He just drive normally and he's not going to get fast, but Knockhill is going to have his work cut out for him.
I do just want to fly into the SPT pack for the first time. We saw a brief change of position. We have, on the ticker I did, I mean. We have LMP Lynx in the Ford GT. Very good car choice, if I do say so myself, having driven it both of the last two runnings for this race. Sitting behind Charlie in the bowler at the moment. Quite close
You've
together.
just confused me very much because I didn't think there was a Ford GT. It's the Mustang GT.
It's the Mustang GT. It's a Ford, and on the screen I can literally see it saying GT.
I mean, yeah, but I was like, what?
Where were you when I was talking to Ben earlier? Logic isn't allowed. If I get things wrong, we just go with it.
That bowler almost grip rolled.
Almost. Almost is fine.
He literally almost grip rolled.
So he didn't grip roll, is what you're saying?
I mean, yeah, but he almost did. There's also a massive gap between Charlie and Poping. Like 7 seconds already. What in the world is causing that to happen?
I wonder if there might have been some sort of little incident, might have been why I saw the ticker change. Charlie, you want to keep that better in the carousel there, because you're going to lose a position just like that. Poping, Renault and Griffin particularly close?
I mean,
crikey!
Bit,
Poping and Renault are. Griffin has rather wandered off into the lead early on.
When we switched to that battle, the gap between the two SUVs was only 5 seconds. It almost went up by 40% in the minute we were watching, so I don't know what is going on there.
Crikey. Yeah, that McCann is rather quick. We saw on the dotting her in the previous stint in the hands of... it was Poping again in the last stint, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. He was a late sub in for this stint for ACR Banana because Banana apparently never got my invites.
Oh, that's fun. Yet more issues we're having today. What a surprise.
Yeah. So I don't know if you saw from Practice Jam, but apparently the Macan can actually do a backflip in this section of the track on the curbs.
Oh, that's chill. No problem.
Yeah, if you get a little too greedy on the curb that we actually just went through, it can bottom out and go skyward, just like at Tetra Rouge at Le Mans, the Twinkie of Death as we call it.
Oh dear, I saw... Was it Commando did that this year?
Yeah, there's always one.
Yeah, that was impressive. That's the first time I'd seen it in person. I think it happened not that far ahead of me when I was driving the Garage 13 entry, not NASCAR thing.
And I think there's been an issue for Mr. Sunshine, changing gears a little bit in the Viper, because he has lost well over 10 seconds to next place Coney Rags. And Sunshine has suffered a right front impact, it looks like, judging by the telemetry damage, if you want to pull that up.
Oh dear.
I'm actually pounded that wall.
I'm just going to stay on board with this battle a little bit longer, because I have a theory that McCann is going to go past the Civic on the straight, because I'm pretty sure I saw it have rather impressive straight line speed in the previous stint. Just want to see if my theory is correct, basically.
I mean, it's got a pretty good chance of being correct, and you also got to remember that Poping and Renault, they are teammates, not in this race, but they are teammates.
The gap was a little bigger than I think Poping would have liked going on to the straight, but I actually think the gap's slightly increasing. I'm going to jump on board with Poping, see if we can see what the gap is doing. But maybe it's quicker than some other cars on the straight, but that Civic didn't exactly lose any time to it. In fact, it might have... Oh, that was close to that wall. You got away with that one.
Well, you gotta remember, Jam, he's got VTech.
Yes, yes he does. Right. I'm assuming, if you were right, we might be going past Mr. Sunshine. There he is, in the pits at the end of lap 1. That is not going to be particularly fun. He's going to have to go through the SPT traffic. How much more of it is it going to go past? There goes
all
Lynx.
of them, I think, almost.
Not quite, by the looks of things. There goes Danzilla. And here we have Red Scarf Bunny not quite overtaking Mr. Sunshine. So that's... Oh, it's only 16 that started this one. Have we had a DNS in this race? In this stint?
I thought we had 17.
There are 16 currently
we
running.
lost Charlie again.
Oh no, not the bowler!
0 for 3. Or 1
1
for 4, I
1
should
for
say.
4, yeah.
Oh my god.
It seems like Tom might be the only... Koenigsegg might be the only person that likes that bowler. And at the moment, bowler only likes Koenigsegg because he's the only person that's got it to finish a stint.
You know, something else we mentioned about Bradders being hard to get around in that R8. Bradders is in 6th.
Oh, so perhaps not as difficult as we might have thought, unless he's made a mistake, potentially.
Yeah, well, I mean, we saw Sunshine with that mechanical damage, and we don't know when
True.
that happened.
Oh, that was...
So we couldn't have just missed it.
Yeah, potentially. Sunshine wasn't in... Well, I suppose... Yeah, it almost seems pointless hypothesizing, but say I don't think they would have been instigating the potential incident together, because I don't think they were close enough after last time we saw them. But theoretically, if say Bradders had a spin somewhere and a couple of people managed to avoid him, and then Sunshine didn't, that could be the cause of the damage. But then you would have expected that Bradders to get damage as well. So not sure. I'm just going to stay on board with Mr. Sunshine as he catches up and passes the SPT traffic, because it's probably the biggest difference in terms of the atmosphere of the race between a real-life version and a TORA version of an endurance is traffic management at Nordschleife. Because in real life, there's just so many cars. There is always someone that you're lapping or getting lapped by. Because of the way it works in TORA, especially with the 2-hour resets and only the 2 classes, you never see any traffic. Maybe once at the end of the stint, if you're quick enough. But on a typical stint, you're going to pass maybe... If you're in the upper class, you're going to maybe pass the lower class once. Maybe only half of them, maybe not at all. So...
Yeah. And that's especially different in the lower splits where the driving is just slower. You might never see the other class.
Yeah, it depends on the relative pace as well between the 2 classes, so it's just a little bit of a treat to watch an upper class car go through lower class traffic as we are doing with Mr. Sunshine catching up to the 2nd place battle at the moment.
The Sunshine League, which Sunshine is the eponymous owner of, did their own Nürburgring series, and I think he was in the other class, getting blown his doors off by a faster version of GT cars than what we have on display today.
Oh well.
So turnabout is fair play here. Absolutely. Perhaps.
I must address Charlie in the chat. I'm sorry, Charlie. We unfortunately did not see your amazing start, gaining 3 positions. I saw you overtake someone on the ticker, and then I swapped to you as you got overtaken coming out the carousel.
Nice clean pass on the right side of Poping there, and then switch back.
Oh no!
Oh, who are we losing?
No! I don't like this screen. I've seen it too often today.
All right, we'll find out in a moment.
Oh,
it looks like
it was Renault.
Somebody higher up.
It was Renault.
Oh no, that was our...
as he was being overtaken.
2nd place.
As he was being overtaken by Mr. Sunshine. I'm pretty sure. Oh, we've lost APR White as well. It was a double.
Yikes. The servers are out for blood.
Yep. The Forza 7 is fighting back. It doesn't want us to move on to a new game next week. So it's having a sulk.
Does it know that doing this makes us want to move on even harder?
It's just punishing us for leaving it.
Yeah. How dare you leave me? I'll take you with me.
Oh dear.
Oh. Sorry, I just moved up to Bradders and he was on 2 wheels approaching the carousel. That was terrifying. But how about that scything driving from Sunshine? now clear the field. And he
Yeah,
is
he's got lots of
back
clean air
into
to drive
no
into now.
man's land.
I don't know what
Yeah.
the pit cycle situation is with the Viper. He's had to take an early pit stop. Can he still do it on minimum stops, or will he have to take an extra one towards the end?
I mean, it's going to be close, but as long as he runs it as long as he can, he should be okay. Because I believe the Viper is front tire limited, not fuel limited, so as long as he's careful.
So it's something he can
right.
actually affect with his driving. Well, I suppose you
Yeah.
can sort of save a little bit of fuel, but you wouldn't be able to save a lap round here.
No. Maybe like if it's real close, you might be able to squeeze one out. But
yeah, if you theoretically could do 4.8 laps, you might be able to get it to 5. Depends on how much the extra lap you could already do.
But speaking of extra, you know who's being real extra right now? Scored Buffalo is dancing on the back of VNX Zach the One's Audi to the point where it looks like something out of the D1 Grand Prix Drift Series.
Let's go and have a look at that,
all
man.
over the back of that car, pushing at about 100 in BMW percent.
Has something happened in the meantime? Because I've just jumped to that particular battle and they're a couple of seconds apart.
Well, yeah, I mean, Scored was going so fast, his tires decided that he was exceeding the amount of grip available, and he slid a little bit.
Right. Interestingly,
but he's catching right back up.
Yeah. So, interestingly, while she was talking about the R8 doing the holding up, I was actually riding on board with NWR Bradders in the other R8, trying to work his way back up by having a go at GPR Breaker. In fact, there's 3 cars within 3 seconds. 4 within 4 seconds almost there from, what's that, 4th down to 7th at the moment. So keep an eye on that on the driver tracker whilst we watch Scored Buffalo try and overtake Zach the One. See what the relative straight line speed difference is here. Looks like that Audi's pretty competent. BMW M6 is in the draft, but it's losing time.
Yeah, this is where that Audi is going to shine. It's got the speed. Problem is, though, it punches a massive hole in the air, which is going to allow BMW to stay with it.
Oh, really closing up on the brakes, though. Lovely line from Scored there. Zach was a little bit scruffy, although the exit onto the pit straight, not the best. Zach into the pits for an early pit stop. Interesting strategy. I'm going to jump back to Crispy in that case, who's actually a little further back than I thought from sideways, so I'm going to jump up one further car, because we've got a bit of a 3 or 4. I thought we had a bit of a 3 or 4 car battle. They've all kind of spread out a bit. Let's go to Bradders, see if we can get past Breaker. There we go. These two are nice and close. The 2 cars...
I've been summoned to fix the dock, so I shall return.
Oh dear. Enjoy. I suppose I could have another look through, see if there are any close battles in SPT. It almost feels weird having so many cars to choose from to spectate. We're 40. Well, we've actually already lost 3 again, haven't we? So maybe it's a bit early for that. But yeah, 14 is still almost double what we had at the end of the last stint. No one in. Oh, we've had a change of position. No one's particularly close together by the looks of things in SPT, but ESV Griffin, who was leading earlier, is now second to RZM Poping, who we can see up ahead. And I've just realised what that means. The Porsche Macan is currently leading the stint. There it is, just in front of us. A big old boat is winning. Mental. Absolutely mental. We'll try and keep an eye on that, see if Griffin can start to come back at Poping for the lead. Trying to look at what else we've got. We've got Lynx and Danzilla only a couple of seconds apart. Probably a bit too far to warrant jumping to them, but again, I'll try... Oh, hang on. There's one of those two might be in the pits by the looks of things. I think Lynx is in the... Yeah, Lynx looks like he's pit. Okay. Try and remember to have a look at Danzilla at the end of the lap then, perhaps. Oh, didn't we have some GTs that pit? Is Lynx in a... Was Lynx in a GT car? No, Lynx was in the Need for Speed car. Won't thank me for showing that on the stream. It's an unorthodox line around turn 1. Scored Buffalo. Yep, no, we knew Scored Buffalo was second because the car ahead had the car ahead pit? Who was Buffalo? Yeah, Buffalo was trying to get past Zach. Zach pit. So Zach's now got 15 seconds of clean air to try and do the undercut. But we still have these guys from Bryker backwards. All reasonably close. So it's about a second per car from Bryker to Bradders, and then from Bradders to Sideways, and Sideways to Crispy. So I guess we'll ride on board with Crispy. The two in the middle are just about the closest at the moment. And then as we get towards the end of the lap, I will try and remember to jump on board with Zach to see where he comes out relative to Scored Buffalo for net P2. Oh, Crispy, that was pushing the limits through there. And we've got, oh no, I was going to say we've got another wing off, but it was Sideways that had lost his wing in the first place. Although APR Sideways, really closing up on Bradders there, as Bradders made a little bit of a mistake on the exit of that section. Let's get rid of, no, not that one, no, there we go, bye. See, it's a classic motorsporting quote, it's almost a cliche. But catching is one thing and passing is quite another. I don't think that is truer anywhere than here. Trying to overtake on the Nordschleifer is pretty tricky to undersell it. Unless you can do what we saw earlier and just drive past it straight line. I can't even remember who that was at this point. Yeah, I can't remember. Was it Valkyrie and Griffin, I think? So we'll see how the Ferrari does here. Hanging onto the back of the Audi. We heard from Ted that Audi is very quick out of the corners. So here, you would expect it to start pulling away, especially if the Ferrari driver does that. I was about to say Bradders looked like he had a little bit of a slide on, so not utilising his corner exit to the maximum, but it was a lot better than going onto the grass. And again, in the long drive up the hill, the R8, should be quicker, but not when you're doing that. Although, apparently, even when you are doing that, because the distance meter is still going up, despite that rather substantial moment there from Bradders. And the car ahead of these guys was GPR Bryker, who I mentioned earlier. A second back from Bryker, a second back from Bradders. No, Bryker's starting to go off into the distance. How are we looking behind? Is it Crispy behind us still? I cannot remember. Yes, it is. Not quite latching onto the back of this pair, but if these two keep making the mistakes that we've seen them make, just even little ones like that, bit of a lock-up from Bradders there, allowing, who is it on board with? Sideways, right up to the back of that bumper. Keep it nice and clean through the carousel. The last thing you want to do is come out early like that. That wasn't ideal, especially when you hit that curb as well. And now we look behind. Fortunately, Crispy hasn't closed up enough to capitalise, but let's look at how much Bradders has got away from that. All about keeping it on the track, keeping it smooth. It's not about doing your best every lap, it's just about doing good enough every lap. Just to maintain the pace. Lots of little micro errors like that. It wasn't really anything substantial, just losing a tenth, maybe two. If you do that 5 or 6 times around the lap, then it starts to add up. I did want the map back on for a second there. There we go. Just to check in through the field. So you've still got Knock Hill out front. Buffalo, only 5 seconds behind now. I feel like that's come down. I'm not 100% sure. I will try and store that one in the memory bank as well. Have a check on that. So we know this is the battle we're on board with. Half a second between Bradders and Sideways. And we've got Zach the one, who I remember saying had 15 seconds worth of clean air. That's down to 12. So Zach trying to do the undercut on Scored Buffalo to maintain second position. Seemingly, the only evidence we have suggests he's doing quite a good job of that at the moment. Poping and Griffin. Griffin losing the lead to Poping earlier on. I feel like that gap has grown since we last saw it as well, up to almost 4 seconds now. And I believe there was another battle somewhere in SPT, although I can't specifically remember where. Maybe someone has pit out of whatever battle that was, I'm not sure. And in all that, while I haven't been watching, where did Bryker come from? Why is Bryker suddenly right in front of us? Bryker words. I think that's the first time I've done that. That's quite a surprise. We now have 2 Ferraris and 0 rear wings. And look at that R8 go. Starting to pull in the mid-range acceleration. But the Ferrari typically has quite good top end. As we head down the hill, we might see that gap even out again, or maybe even come back down. It depends on what sort of setups these guys are running, especially with the aero levels. It looks like the Audi R8 still very quick. It's right on the back of Bryker. Now Bryker's losing it! Whoa, that was very sideways. Brad is almost looking like he was going to the inside there. I said that would have been a ballsy move, trying to overtake someone whilst they're having a moment through there. How many of these guys are going to dive into the pits now? Both Ferraris are in. Brad stays out, and so does Crispy. I'm now going to jump back on board with Zach, who's a long way back. How long is this pit stop? Hey, it's Ted.
So remember how you and Ben were saying how the whole event runs on the spreadsheet?
Please don't tell me it's really broken badly.
So somebody put after lobby DC in a space, and that broke the starting grid. So I fixed it.
It didn't affect Stint have already started, has it?
No. It was just like, of all the things to break something, an extra space.
Yeah, well, when you're looking for something that's very specific, you can't really. Right.
Yeah.
So my wishful thinking of wondering where Scored Buffalo was going to be in relation to Zach, I think Scored still hasn't pit yet, so we'll have to check in with that in another lap's time. The big battle we were watching has dissipated as well, which has gone into a pit strategy battle because Bradders and Crispy stayed out, whilst Bryker and Sideways pitted. So that was in relative to the 4-car battle, first and third pit, while second and fourth stayed out. So they all played the strategy correctly, really. They alternated which ones pit, so they've all got as much track space as possible to themselves, even if you are only a second or so behind the car in front. And the Ferraris are working together, which is what I like to see as a bit of a Ferrari fan. Bryker getting a bit loose on the way into Schumacher S is there, actually. But yeah, it'd be interesting. Sorry, go on, Ted.
Those front tires for the TT that stayed out, knockhill, they're going to be absolutely dead at the end of this lap.
I'd forgotten the knockhill was in the TT. Let's have a look-see at...
It's already at 60 on the fronts.
Car info telemetry. Damage. There you go, so 62%. How many laps has he done so far? 3?
Yeah, this would have to be lap 3.
No, he's already completed 3 laps, hasn't he?
Yeah, so he's on like 3 and a bit.
Yeah, so he's only at 20% of laps. He'll be heading towards 80%. Actually, that is quite a lot on the
time.
Yeah,
so the absolute most he can do is 4 laps.
Yeah. I mean, theoretically, you could do 5 before you hit 100, but that 5th lap wouldn't be very fun.
That would be awful.
Interesting.
SPT leaders in the pits, just taking a quick notice there.
Thank you very much. Say
Griffin.
Poping had passed Griffin. Yeah. Let's ride on board with Griffin, see if anyone actually stays out in SPT. Haven't seen anyone go past just yet. Poping should go back past us. We'll stay on board, see what the gap is once these guys get going again, because it was up to about 4 seconds at one point last time I looked, but that is definitely not 4 seconds.
Second and a half.
Let's get that off and then put that one back on. And as you can see, Ted was correct. It's about a second and a half.
I have the little mini leaderboard pulled up, so
yeah. Oh, that's exactly what I was just showing on the stream. I'm not sure if Griffin crashed, to be honest. I haven't managed to catch the SPT lead battle very effectively at all. It was Griffin by quite a bit, and then it was Poping by quite a bit, and now it's not by much anymore. So they're really sort of swapping around positions.
I mean, that's kind of what you want, though, especially in the early stages of the race. This is when you can make a move and have it be emphatic. You can set the tone for the rest of the stint. But if it goes wrong, you now have a whole stint to do with a messed up strategy.
Yeah, it very much reminds me of Griffin and Valkyrie in the previous stint. Every time we checked in on those, there seems to be a different leader by a different amount. Yes, unfortunately, Renault did DC, as did APR White and DOR Charlie.
Yeah, we're missing a couple, it looks like.
Oh, these two are quite
last
close.
time I saw, we lost 3.
So, the 4-car battle that we had in SPX, the two that stayed out are very, very close together at the moment. Actually, what am I doing? I want that one back.
You're talking about Crispy Bradders?
Yes, Bradders and Crispy. They were 1 to 1.5 seconds apart, I want to say, at the start of the lap.
Yeah, well, this is, again, that Audi is going to suffer in the first half of the lap because it's a lot more twisty technical. It just does not have the turning ability. The Mercedes is the grip machine.
And we are seeing that now.
Start to reel them back in.
As
now, running up the hill.
Good exit from
Bradders.
So the 2 Ferraris that these guys are fighting with are the 2 names in the bottom left-hand corner that I'm trying to show you. GPR Bryker and APR Sideways were in alternate positions with Bradders and Crispy earlier. So it was Bryker, Bradders, Sideways, Crispy. So it'll be interesting to see in this little almost 2v2 battle now of the pit strategy which pair comes out on top. But
it's also worth mentioning that the GPR car that Bryker is part of had a pre-race penalty, so they are already starting in the hole. So whatever they're doing on track, I think it's 7,500 feet or 10K that they effectively owe us. And that has already been applied, so live timing will reflect that, but something they're going to have to be mindful of.
Which will really hurt their track position, their start position for the stints as well. And we know how hard overtaking is around here, so...
So I hate to be the guy that corrects you, but that's actually not true in
this
is it not? Particular case. The penalties are applied to the after calculation stint.
Oh, this is the thing I couldn't remember earlier, isn't it? We were talking about the minutiae of how certain things aren't calculated within the dot.
We were talking about, so what we were talking about was the way the distances are calculated. A disconnect in a late stint can retroactively make your displayed starting position on the dock wrong.
Oh, that was it.
Which has nothing to do with We used to apply penalties by editing the actual stint, but now we just apply it at the end on a totally separate thing.
I wonder if VNX Zach the One has had an issue on this particular lap, because I was tracking him against Scored Buffalo in the battle for second, but he has now appeared ahead of the 2 Ferraris who were in the battle for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th.
Let's take a look.
There was I'm sure, a bigger gap between Bryker and Zach. But Bryker has still got the second Ferrari of, I keep forgetting who's driving this, APR Sideways behind.
Yep.
And we've still got Bradders and Crispy to factor into this equation as well. It's perfectly possible that those two could end up... we could have 5 cars covered by a blanket in about half a lap's time.
Don't threaten me with a good time.
I'm keeping an eye on the Ferraris at the moment. If you want to keep an eye on Crispy and Bradders for me, let me know if anything happens there. This is definitely the battle to be watching at the moment.
I did investigate Zach's car, and the public telemetry did not indicate any real problem for Zach. So he either just ran wide or had to let the dogs out. Who knows?
Oh, speaking of running wide, that was a bit of rail sliding across that thick curb there in a Ferrari 458 that you don't want to be doing. Oh, at it again. That's a big hit on that big curb. That was dangerous. You don't want to be doing that all the time because that will launch you into an accident. But speaking of
quick update on the Crispy Bradders fight, they are now on the back straight. The Audi is, as predicted, gapping the Merc just a little bit, but Crispy is still within dive bomb range. I've sent it from further back.
You could say that about any 2 cars on this track, though, couldn't you?
Yeah, but Crispy's also a lot smarter than I am, so he's not going to do it. I say
you,
that.
You say that
alongside the Audi. You go for it.
I figured I'd come and have a look anyway. Looks like he's just about backed out of that before they entered the braking zone there. But yeah, pretty close.
These two we said Crispy was smarter than me. Discretion, the better part of valor. Is
and
the term.
We have SLS Knockhill in the pits, and also Bradders and Crispy. But Buffalo has stayed out. I want to have a quick look while we're waiting for the pit cycle to happen. Scored Buffalo has stayed out again. What is going on with his car? He's got 57% on the front tyres and still 31% fuel left. So yeah, that M6 can go a long, long way. Right, now I'm going to run back to Sideways, who was at the back of this battle. And we are expecting 2 cars to come out of the pits somewhere amongst the 3 cars that we're following down the pit straight.
Here it comes.
Oh, they've both been undercut.
Ooh.
By quite a bit.
Yeah,
the
but
Ferraris
those
have pulled
fresh
off.
tires, they're going to suck for about 30 seconds, and then they're going to start reeling these guys in.
By the time they've got round turn 2, they've warmed up. I don't think that's much of a thing. Oh, on the grass there from Sideways. That surprises me. Bradders, say, was ahead of Sideways before he pit, and now behind. That's the only real change in all that, actually, because Bryker was already first of the 4. Crispy was already bringing up the rear. I think Bradders had a little bit of a bad lap, is my hypothesis. But the closest pair is actually now Bryker and Zach. Whatever issues Zach has had, whether it be having an actual sort of incident or just not quite having the pace of the cars that are chasing him, it's really holding up Bryker around the GP loop, and Sideways is right on the back of the pair of them again.
Oh, I love the Nürburgring. It's so hard to race.
Yeah. I love the Nürburgring. Oh, the Ferraris have come together! Hold it, Bryker, hold it! That was a good save.
Is this Scuderia Ferrari in Forza? Snatching defeat from the jaws of victory?
We've got Bradders right on the back of Sideways. Sideways, in going to the other side of the track to not hit Bryker again, inadvertently blocked the whole track by essentially being 2 Ferraris wide, which stopped Bradders fully capitalising, although he was having a little bit of a...
there.
I'd say, yeah, he's definitely forced Sideways to move to defend into that... Oh man, this is a lot of cars. My mouth has stopped keeping up with my brain. I'm just going to jump on board with Crispy at the back, enjoy watching, and take a drink. Tastes like entertainment.
Also, Detective Anon in the Marshall chat has proposed a theory that the cloudy skybox has a 1-to-1 correlation with a Series X Forza 7 game crash. Because everyone who had a game crash on a Series X console is claiming that is why. We have no way of knowing if this is true, but that is the theory.
You know what would have been really interesting? If I was streaming from my Xbox Series X rather than my computer.
Do tell.
Because then we could have seen if it was if it would happen to a streamer as well as the drivers. Because I'm on Series X as well, and I was streaming.
Let's hope we never
oh, Crispy! There's too much speed into there. That's a nasty scrape along the wall.
He's gotten away with it
again.
Wow.
That's the 3rd, at least, big hit we've seen result in no damage. Ted, do you want to check people's settings? Oh, you set this lobby up, did you? Did you put it on simulation damage?
It's on sim. It's definitely on sim, and we know it's on sim because we know Sunshine had a problem earlier.
Oh yeah, I never actually saw that, but yes, you are right.
Yeah. So I think it's just maybe the Mr. Asaki has smiled upon us.
Oh, we have a change for P3. Bryker has finally got past Zach. He's been trying to do it for almost a lap now, I think. And she's just managed to do it. I didn't quite see it in the distance ahead as I was riding on board with Bradders, but...
I mean, yeah, he's got the pass on, but at what cost? The cost of his wing.
Oh, that was gone ages ago. We don't worry about that.
I'm trying to weave a narrative.
So
Let me try to be John Hinda.
Oh, that was too much of that. Oh, I thought Sideways was going to send it up the inside there.
I mean, he was a little too sideways to go up the inside there, especially with that Audi being as wide as it is. It's the GTD spec, remember, which is wider in the rear by about 30 millimeters.
I take it that pun wasn't intentional, based on the fact you just carried on talking about GTD mix. Sideways was too sideways.
No, it was very intentional.
Oh, okay.
I just deadpanned it. You're killing me, man.
Oh, I genuinely thought you didn't realise. Oh.
Alright, well...
wide line through there. It's not ideal.
You'll notice that the track narrows slightly in this section of the Nordschleife part of the circuit. which is going to work in the favor of the Audi defensively, but it's going to make Bradder's life very difficult in the blue and purple car just behind these two.
Really good run from Sideways, though. Can't do anything with the run, but I'd say historically that Ferrari normally has a pretty decent top end, but it depends how much aero you have to run on it, and I would guess quite a bit more than usual around here.
I would assume, given the nature of the track, that most of the Ferrari guys did slap a little bit of aero on it just to make it a little more predictable. But that could have been very bad for Zach, and he is very loose.
Going to be very sad. Brantis has gone up the inside as well. Oh man, I wish I was on board with him. What a move!
That was brilliant.
That is my least favourite corner on the entire circuit, which is saying something, because there's 170 of them. Now
try it in the M1.
No thank you.
That's what I'm going to be doing at 6 a.m. later.
Oh dear.
It's been 11.
Has
the carousel we go?
I wonder, has Crispy had another issue? Because Crispy's a long, long way behind now.
Ooh, Bradder's sim twitch coming out of the carousel. He's around. Blocking the road. Okay, you reversed out of the way. Very good.
Crispy has damage now.
Jim, yes, I hope you didn't cut away from that.
Unfortunately, I did. I'm on board with Crispy, who has now just caught up to the back of Bradder's, but Crispy has damage. So, either Crispy did take damage from the incident we saw earlier,
or something else happened.
Considering he has right front brake damage along with front, right and left aero damage, is possible, or he was pushing too hard to try and make up for the incident and had another one. Either way, it's going to be a second pit stop in as many laps for Crispy, which certainly isn't going to help his race.
And speaking of catching up, now that everyone's on equal footing with the exception of Scored Buffalo off in Narnia, Mr. Sunshine only lost about 20 seconds with that damage, so he is by no means out of this, but I wouldn't expect him to start making position overtakes for at least another 10 or 20 minutes.
Yeah, I'd say Crispy is going to be a relatively easy first target, I think, based on his own issues as well.
Yeah, but that 5-car train, it is officially broken now.
Yeah, there's nothing of it left. I've just flicked through the drivers. I really like this livery on this GPR Ferrari. It's very nice. My kind of livery.
Yeah, we don't see those guys too often, but they always come up with some eye-catching designs. I like it.
It's very Ferrari, which makes me happy.
Alright, so I think Scored Buffalo might be taking a pit stop now. And he is going to go in. Called that one.
Poping looks like he's taken a pit stop. I've dropped down into SPT to see if anything's happening there. And it looks like Poping has pit on the most recent lap and come out behind LMP Lynx. I don't know if Lynx, I'm assuming, hasn't pit on this most recent lap. So this is not what Poping wants strategy-wise in a battle with Griffin for the lead. Bearing in mind, Griffin, I assume, didn't pit most recently. Should we jump on board with Lynx and check their fuel levels as well? Yes.
Did first and second owe us a pit stop in addition to what the other guys already did? Or are they really that far ahead? Because Knockhill stayed out.
Knockhill pit last lap.
And is 20-something seconds ahead of Riker.
Yeah, that sounds about right, I think.
Alright, so he is actually just that far ahead. And scored
Buffalo
about...
had done an extra lap. It's just done his first stop as well.
So these are the true gaps then. Everybody has made the same quantity of pit stops in SPX.
Think so. SPT, Poping has made an extra one and has now finally passed Lynx and immediately absolutely disappeared.
I mean, no offense to Lynx, but between the two of them, Poping is objectively much faster.
I think the section of track where he got through as well immediately then decided to favour immediately then favoured the Porsche as well compared to the
Well, you know,
Ford Mustang.
Uphill, big power, all-wheel drive. It kind of helps.
So yes, definitely we have Poping having taken an extra pit compared to everybody else in SPT by the looks of things. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
He is going to be just barely ahead or barely behind Griffin once Griffin pits.
Yeah, it's been a long while since I checked the gap between Poping and Griffin. I don't even know who was
actually in the grass. I was riding on board with him as you were looking at Griffin. He left the ground, almost grip rolled, landed, almost grip rolled a second time, and then kept going.
It's an SUV. It's fine. It's allowable.
Standard operating procedure.
I just realised if I get the... not that one. Turn that one off. Do that. There you go. Have a look. Oh, no, wrong thing. There we go. Now we can have a look through at the gaps.
Now, JM, did you mention the Gambit from qualifying at all?
No, it was your gambit, so I figured I'd wait for you to come in and explain it.
Well, I appreciate that. We did have a challenge for the first time, where if any driver was able to hit the theoretical max dev lap time, I was going to buy them a diecast. Unfortunately, nobody was able to do it. So the target was an 8-minute 10.0, or faster than that in SPX, and a sub 9-minute lap in SPT.
Sub 9 minutes.
Barco got a
SPT.
9 minutes and 6/10 in SPT, and I believe it was one of the APR guys got an 8:13 in SPX. So, Birth Enduro on Forza Motorsport 2023. The Gambit will return.
Ooh. Ah, were you in the stream
We'll
earlier when Ben was here talking about the first Enduro on the next Forza?
No, I was not.
So we have done a soft announcement exclusive to my stream that the first endurance on the next Forza Motorsport is likely to be at Kailami.
Oh yes.
So any idea how long Kailami is? What sort of lap times the Gambit's going to be for? Get some advanced knowledge in. What is it? A 1 minute?
It's a pretty decently long track.
Yeah, I remember doing it on ACC the last time TORA tried to do ACC stuff, and I can't remember. I wasn't very good. I remember that much.
Yeah, I mean, Kailami, it has an interesting history because Formula One went there in the 60s and 70s and 80s and then stopped during the apartheid period.
I was going to say,
South Africa.
Wasn't that one of the races that was boycotted by the drivers because of apartheid?
It was. It was. And eventually when South Africa stopped doing that, F1 returned and then just stopped going to Africa altogether. So then Porsche bought the track, I think in the 2000 something.
Oh, Danzilla must have had an issue. Very slow onto the... Poping, that wasn't the side to go! Well, that was eventful. I don't know what happened to Danzilla. Did he have an issue? Did he have an issue coming out of the corner, or has he got damage from earlier somewhere?
I didn't catch any sign of damage. He does have 2% engine damage, but that could just be from a bad downshift.
I wouldn't have thought that would be from that.
Lynx is right there too, Jam.
Yeah, Lynx not far behind. Let's get the damage off and jump onto Lynx.
But yeah, Kailami. Porsche bought it, turned it into a test development track, and then the Intercontinental GT Challenge was the first major event on the refurbished Kailami with the 9-hour race. And it's still going. It's
a fun track. I enjoy driving it on ACC.
Yeah, Lynx just diving in pits.
Yeah, I think on roughly the same pit cycle as Danzilla, so interesting based on the fuel levels. So interesting to see how they play out in the long term. Griffin doesn't look like he's made another stop yet. I wonder if Poping had to pit for damage or something. Because that did seem like an early second stop.
Considering the way in which that car is behaving, I would not be surprised if it bit him a little hard and he had to adjust to that.
There's some damage on the left-hand side. It doesn't look major, and there's a little bit of the rear as well, but it's hard to tell with Forza's damage model.
I mean, yeah, to an extent it can be hard to tell, but that's part of the excitement, isn't it? We have to kind of figure it out on our own a little bit.
I'll tell you who is somebody on the move, as Poping just about avoids going into the gravel once again. Bryker. Oh, hang on. Never mind, I've read the timings wrong. I thought Bryker was 2 seconds behind Buffalo. No, 2 seconds ahead of APR Sideways. So the two Ferraris still staying reasonably close together, just a couple of seconds apart. Here we go. Yeah, that big 5-car train. Very much broken up, considering all of them were separated by about 5 seconds earlier. The smallest gap is now 2.5, and the next smallest is 5 seconds.
And that'll tend to change as we go through the race. It'll kind of stretch and contract. This is probably the single hardest event in all of competitive Forza outside of like the paid tournaments.
Probably.
This is just difficult. There's no cleaner way of putting it.
No. The event in which I made my endurance debut 4 years ago. Because I figured, if you're going to start with endurance, why not make it the most difficult one? Then the rest will be easy.
I made my debut at the 2016 N24, and it did not go well.
Mine did. We came 4th in class, which is still, to date, my best enduro result.
One of my teammates got banned mid-race.
Yes, I think everyone's probably heard the SFM entry. Well, it wasn't even SFM, was it? It was Reddit Racing?
Yes.
See, even I know the story. That was,
it was pretty
quite
bad.
the debut.
I talked Diablo and Benedict out of permanently banning our entire team. And you could say that was when it all went to heck.
I was going to say, they should have. I jest. Once again, Sideways really using the curbs through that really quick commitment section. That's could definitely bite him if it gets it wrong. Although while we've been on board, he's caught almost half a second on Briker, so I might just stay on board a bit longer.
Alright, well I now have the full results up through this stint. 1, 2, and 3, I should say. So without further delay, here is the standings. Currently in first place at 575.2 miles is the Audi of Vanadix Esports, number 721. In second place, a whopping 9.5 miles back, is IFEA Racing. And a further 4 miles back is BIR GT001 in the Mercedes in C Lobby.
I was going to say, I've just flicked through to look at the cars you're talking about whilst you were saying it. And then you said DIR, and I was like, I can't swap to that car.
Yeah, they are a team nobody really expected that level of performance out of. And then credit to Dramora, he's got a couple of really solid drivers there that are putting in the work. So I tip my hat at them. Respect, no sarcasm. Good job, guys.
Absolutely.
Our best placed B Lobby team is currently Team Sakura Sky Heroes. That's Mikun's team at 562 miles. In SVT, ESV have 524.2, 2.7 miles ahead of Rise, who are in turn 7 miles up on LMP Bilstein, which is also the best placed B Lobby car. Best placed C Lobby team is Scrubs Go Racing, hashtag Wingo's here, in the Scirocco in 6th position. So there'll be some shaking up here.
Yeah, expect that all to change in 3 stints time, and then all to change again 3 stints after that.
Oh yeah.
Where was I? I should have stayed on board with Sideways. The gap from Sideways to GPR Breaker now down to 1.4. So it's come down about a second in, I think, less than a lap. Could we see a bit more? Oh, that was a big twitch out the Shimokresses. Could we see some more Ferrari on Ferrari action? We saw them come together at this very corner earlier on. Let's, if they do close up, hope we don't get a repeat of that.
Yeah. We also have our first mid-race retirement. The DPM team in C Lobby have called it a day. Sorry to see that.
Always a shame. Griffin's still not made an extra pit stop. Where are they on track? Oh, okay, so that he's likely going to pit at the end of this lap, I would have thought. Try and remember to keep an eye on that, see where he comes out relative to Poping. And I was surprised Danzilla didn't pit last time to get rid of that 2% engine damage, but I suppose if it means an extra pit stop, it's not really worth it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of a weird situation for them. Well, Jam, remember when I said earlier that I thought I was getting a cold?
Yes.
Yeah. Existence is pain right now.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. The tea that I made earlier, it was nice. It tasted great. Nice and smooth, but it has since worn off. I am now suffering once again.
You clearly need to have some more tea then.
Yeah, but then I have to, make the tea.
I am British. I have to prescribe tea.
Understandable.
What I don't have to prescribe is Sideways losing 1.2 seconds whilst I was not looking at the screen. So either he might have made a little mistake, or potentially the two Ferraris have wildly different tunes and are wildly quicker and slower at different parts of the track. Both plausible. But
excuse me.
Excuse you, indeed. As these two have spread out a little bit, I'll take the opportunity to go and have a look elsewhere. Danzilla, despite the 2% engine damage, I'm just going to check that it is indeed still there. Yes, it is. Only 23% fuel left. Still hanging on, just 2 seconds behind Poping, who we saw earlier in a battle for the lead with Griffin. Although, do we think Poping has made? We think Poping's made an extra stop on Danzilla.
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can find that, because we should be able to get it on the ticker, the quantity of pit stops, but it looks like that is incorrect.
Oh, Poping, that's not ideal. And here comes Danzilla.
The battle for the caboose is actually pretty good right now between LMP Lynx and Red Scarf Bunny in the not Need for Speed paint. They are nose to tail.
We currently have Danzilla and Poping side by side, and that wasn't quite enough room there. And there was a bit of contact. That was ambitious from Danzilla and perhaps a little bit unforgiving from Poping to close off the inside there. Let's jump back on board with Danzilla. Watch from his perspective for a little bit. See if either of these two come into the pits at the end of this lap, or if Griffin does ahead.
Well, just taking a look at the fuel, I think Danzilla is probably going to have to, because he has less than 20%, and there's no way he's going around again on that mount.
So Poping's going to have about half a tank at the end of this lap, based on, I just looked at his numbers a minute ago.
If Poping comes in, I'll be very confused.
Yeah, I wonder if Poping has had to do an extra stop.
Or
damage.
if he maybe just did 2 back-to-back.
But I don't know. If he'd done 2 back-to-back, I would have thought he'd have more fuel on still. Because it's gone down too quickly for it to have been tactical. I think he's... In fact, look at how much he's just lifted off the throttle. I think he's had to do an extra pit stop, and he's now saving as much fuel as he can to try and not do an extra pit stop, if that makes sense.
I mean, that lift there will easily save 0.5%.
Yeah,
easily.
And there goes Danzilla into the pits. Poping stays out, but as we go and check, Poping only has 52% fuel. So he's trying to make it so that he can do however many laps he's already done again, because he's at the halfway point. And yeah, listen to that engine lift. He's really stretching that. And Griffin has come out the pits 18 seconds up. I think Poping's had an issue. He's still off the throttle all the way into turn 2.
Yeah, I mean, knowing Poping, he probably went as fast as he can for a full run just to see where he ran out of fuel, and then figured out how much he's short, and he's probably running to a number at this point.
Probably. Which now makes, with those pit stops, the closest 2 cars are once again the 2 Ferraris, 2.3 seconds now apart from each other. APR sideways, looking like he's going to have to pit this lap. Front tyres nearly at 60%, less than a third of tank of fuel left. Jumping up to Bryker, I expect to see similar numbers, a bit more fuel used, and a bit more tyre wear. But yeah, pretty similar. Expect to see both these guys in end of this lap.
And I think we're going to start to see that the one and only class interaction, not next lap, but the lap after that. I think it might happen then.
I don't know.
Maybe.
The outright leader is not yet on the dotting her, and all of the SPT cars are on the GP loop.
I don't know.
So, what's the pace gap? About a minute? Roughly?
About a minute. It's going to be close.
So the GP loop takes about a minute and a half. So we'll see where the last SPT car is when the leader gets to the GP section.
You know, I'm just noticing something. Does the Apollo car have the TORA Endurance banner on it? I don't think it does.
Hang on. Let me get rid of the map so I can... Oh, that's the wrong one. Again? I'm really good at pressing the wrong buttons.
I don't see the class sticker or the endurance banner on Sideways' car. Uh-oh.
The SPX logo is there.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, they don't have the
No
endurance
TORA
banner.
Enduro. Yeah, no required. That is a lack of a mandated. How did it get through? Yeah, because they've got a Fanatec box.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Surely the TORA Endurance thing should be where they put the word Fanatec in the box.
Ugh. Well, that's just unfortunate.
Yes, it is. The things you notice on stream.
Caught in 4K.
Yeah, well, very much not 4K based on the quality of my stream, but yeah.
Listen,
Oh, hang on.
the game
We've
close
got
to my end is in
we've
4K.
got a split in strategy. Bryker has stayed out with 66% on his front tyres, and he's right ahead of Notkill as Notkill's come out the pits. Bryker has got the fuel to go round again, but nearly 70% already, and he's not even done the GP section yet.
That's brave.
Is certainly brave.
I mean, as long as he is below 90% when he gets on the back straight, he should be okay. But as soon as it hits that 90%, it is just game over.
I like that Ferrari. It is my absolute GT of choice. I've driven it a lot, and it's after 80, you're going to be losing serious pace. He'll theoretically make it fine, but actually, how many laps has he done? If he's done, let's say, 4 laps already, 20% a lap.
This will be the 5th lap.
So divide by 4 what he's already done. He's doing less than 20% a lap, so he'll get there by about 85. So I think he's pushing it to the limit, but actually it's not completely ludicrous to stay out for a different strategy. It's probably more of a hindrance that he's got Knockhill behind him, because Knockhill will want to get past, and that could cost him time.
I mean, yeah, disparate strategies, that's half the fun of doing this kind of stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
What is he going to gain by staying out? He's only losing potential
by
getting that close on the fronts.
It's the mind games, because he had a car 2 seconds back that had the potential to close in but wasn't really doing it consistently. So by staying out when the car behind him pits, the car behind him has lost that frame of reference up ahead. It's always easier to be quick when you're chasing someone. So Bryker already had the clean air, which he's still got. So he's keeping the status quo of situation. But the car that was chasing him loses that carrot. So hopefully, in Bryker's mind, Sideways is now a bit slower on their outlap, and he can extend the gap that way.
And speaking of extending in gaps, Mr. Sunshine is no longer the SPX caboose. He has gotten up to and dispatched Coney Rags.
And as you're saying that, SLS, Knockhill, has overtaken Bryker on the way into Flugplatz. And
that's brave.
Yeah, he got it done before the corner. I think Bryker sort of helped him make the move. And I think that worked quite well for both of them. It was a little bit sketchy, but Bryker probably not losing out too much with that move there. So, and now Bryker's got a carrot to chase for this lap. Try and stick on Knockhill's tail, and try and extend the gap to Sideways by the time he has to take his next pit stop.
Do you think Bryker may have just waved Knockhill through because he didn't want to have the car be upset through Flugplatz?
Quite possibly, yes. I mean, let him through when you're not going to lose much time, and then chase him down, use him as a carrot. It's just good tactical awareness in general.
Yeah, I can see that. And maybe he's just trying to learn a line. But even if he's trying to learn a line, it's a front-wheel drive car, so you're not going to be taking the same line.
I don't think it's necessarily about lines. It's just about the mentality of chasing someone that's ahead of you. It's easier to just be quicker based on that extra reference, even like a subliminal reference from the fact there's a car ahead of you driving around.
I can see that.
I've already seen in a few corners since the swap of positions that TT is extremely different in how it gets its pace compared to the Ferrari.
Much wider entry.
Yeah, and just sort of more mid-corner grip, but gives it up on the entry, and the straight line speed isn't there. Oh, I've just seen the chat. A belated goodbye to Charlie. I'm guessing you've already gone, but Charlie headed off. And thank you for your quotation marks about enjoying my commentary. That is what I'm here for.
Listen, man, we're doing our best. This was not pre-planned.
Yeah, the planning that went into this was all of about half an hour before the race started. Oh yeah, I'll cover that stint.
For lack of trying.
How is it going to work? I have no idea.
We have a pretty decent population of streamers to draw from on a given day, and a lot of them just weren't around.
Yeah,
so
just one of those things.
Staff,
life getting in the way. Oh, that was close, Bryker. Right on the edge of the track on entry there. You don't want to be messing that one up because you'd be losing pace all the way up the hill, but you just about got away with it.
Yeah, I think that carrot on the stick might be a little too far away for Bryker to be taking advantage of at this point.
That is the only thing, when someone that much quicker than you gets past. I've been there a few too many times. Let's get the player focus up and have a look at through the gaps. So Not Kill, having taken an extra pit stop, less than 20 seconds off the lead of Buffalo, already 2 seconds clear of Bryker. It's 34 seconds back to Sideways, who's still P4, but has taken an extra pit stop over Bryker in P3. Then we've got Bradders 24 seconds back now. Not sure what his pit cycle is, but I'm assuming he's on the same one as Zach, who's only 6 seconds back, and Crispy another 8. Sunshine we saw with... I'm surprised Crispy is still that far ahead of Sunshine, unless Sunshine's made an extra pit stop, because Crispy had a lot of damage from their incident. Sunshine, we know, had an extra pit stop as well.
Crispy and Sunshine have now had the same amount of times being damaged on the track, so I think this is just the pace differential between the two of them at this point.
Yeah, it could be.
That is the actual gap.
And then ESV Griffin still leads SPT, over 20 seconds clear of Poping now, who I'm going to assume did have an issue, and is still driven through back into second despite having an extra pit stop, doing a lot of work to save fuel at the moment. Danzilla P3, having taken a pit stop quite recently, we saw him go in, is about a pit stop behind Poping. And then Lynx is only 6 seconds behind Danzilla actually. That could be interesting to keep an eye on long term. And Red Scarf Bunny, to use Ted's term, being the caboose in SPX. But yeah, I don't know exactly how much pit stop is. So we've got Poping and Danzilla 36 seconds apart in SPT. And they were close to each other when Danzilla pit. And we've got Sideways and Bryker, who are 32.5 seconds apart now, who were close to each other when Sideways pit. So it's probably going to be somewhere around 33 to 35 seconds. So we could see a swap for position. Sideways is really seemed to have the upper hand on Bryker in this little pit stop strategy. I was on the side of Bryker once I thought it through. I thought staying out the extra lap could work in his favour, but I think Sideways has got too much pace on his outlap.
Well, speaking of Sideways, he was very, very sideways coming through the back elevated section of the Nordschleife. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, of course, as soon as I stopped talking and praising Sideways, since then the gap has gone up 2 seconds.
Because he was sideways.
So you tell me, yes.
Yeah, he went full Ryan Turk there. That was crazy. Or Turek, however you say it. The drifter.
He went full on drift mode.
Yeah.
Just as an extra little thing, we have the lead car in... Oh, actually. The lead car is in the pits. Yes, I was just thinking about what you were talking about earlier with when are we going to see the class interaction. We have the approximate length of the GP loop between the classes at the moment, maybe even slightly less, so it could be next lap, maybe shortly after that. Not too far away indeed. So
we're going to see a change for the lead now. Knockhill is going to get Buffalo, who is in the pits, and this is on merit, I believe.
I think this is readdressing the same number of pit stops now, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am...
Bryker...
personally far more invested in Bryker versus Sideways. 33.5 seconds the gap as Bryker entered the pits. Nice clean run here.
I didn't catch what his tire wear was. We were discussing it, but I'm assuming it was pretty bad.
It would have been somewhere in the 80 to 85% range.
All right, Jim, here it is. I think he's going to get him.
Here we go. I think 33.5 seconds is going to be tight. There is Bryker out the pits. And it is definitely less than 2 seconds, but Bryker has kept the position. If it wasn't for that Sideways moment, Ted, that you witnessed but we didn't, then Sideways would have been ahead by a second. As it is,
he's going to be kicking
he's
himself for that.
behind by a second. Yeah, that sideways moment from sideways, all the difference at this stage in the stint.
And I know you think it's only 2 corners, but I think it's more like a minute. Cold tires for Bryker. Sideways got a full head of steam already. I think Schumacher is going to be very telling of just how big that difference is going to be as we approach it now.
We'll see. So it was about 0.8 as they exited turn 2, and as they went down towards the spoony hairpin, it was 1.0, and it still is 1.0. So I just don't think cold tyres has that much of an impact. Down to 0.9 on the exit of the Schumacher S's, so it's not that. I don't think it's that
they
much.
They call him DDM Buzzkill.
That is one thing I don't get called, actually. There are many puns that I like to make. I can be the preserve driver. That is one of my favourite puns. Or in our DDM server, I'm now Daredevil's advocate.
That's funny.
Cause, yeah, I do quite like playing Devil's Advocate. And, you know, Daredevil, so it works.
Advocatus Diaboli.
What?
Latin.
I didn't think anyone spoke Latin.
Oh, no one speaks Latin other than, like,
you just
priests.
did!
Well, it's a phrase.
The only Latin I know is Semper Paratus, which means always ready, because it was on the club motto when I was playing soccer as a youngster.
Nice. It's suitable for that purpose.
Just generically douchey, really.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, describing a children's soccer team, but you did it, so...
Hey, it was my children's soccer team. Yeah.
I think Crispy and Sunshine have pitted, because Coney Rags is now up to 7th, but he, I don't believe, has the pace to be there.
Let's have a look at the fuel situation for them, shall we?
Yeah.
So, Coney Rags, coming to the end of the GP loop, has 77% fuel, so has pitted relatively recently.
Crispy just pitted, as did Sunshine.
So so Coney Rags only pitted a lap before. I reckon they're on the same pit cycle. I reckon that Sunshine and Crispy are still.
Yeah,
I reckon they're still catching up. They've done the same amount of pit stops, I reckon, as Coney Rags now. Alright, the gap between Knock Hill and Red Scarf Bunny for the first class interaction.
I can see Red Scarf Bunny.
Isn't super significant.
I mean, if you're lighting on board with Knock Hill, you can see Scarf Bunny.
Oh, sorry. I was looking at the car in 13th, thinking that was...
The pass is happening
There
now.
it is! There it is! I saw it! I swear! I promise! I got it on screen! Oh! That was...
Oh, man.
Red Scarf Bunny with a bit of oversteer moment.
Went full need for speed there.
Alright, should we... Yeah, so the gap from Scarf... I didn't realise how big the gap was from Red Scarf Bunny to Lynx. It's nearly a minute at this point. Possibly.
She would have had to just pit. Let's ride on board with Buffalo. See if we can catch the full approach and overtake this time, Jam.
Yeah, I was just checking where they were in relation to each other, and that was my exact plan.
It ain't gonna take long. As Buffalo hits the wall! Oh, you saved it. That was so close. Oh my gosh.
3% engine damage from scored Buffalo. I don't know if that just happened. Bit of transmission damage. Oh. Transmission damage appeared, went, and then came back again.
Yeah, that's a graphical thing. Don't worry about it. It's not actually there.
Right.
But
okay.
Yeah, he got that engine damage trying to stop the car from impacting the wall unsuccessfully.
Yeah, that was mighty unfortunate. It's weird that he only got engine damage. Oh, right, because he... Yeah, my brain just stopped working for a minute. We'll ignore what I was going to say.
Too early.
Yeah. Oh, I've just turned the wrong thing off again. There we go. No, that's not it. There we go. No, keep going. There we go.
So tell us about your setup, Jam. I see you have a nice pink chair.
Oh, the pinker the better, obviously.
Yeah. Is it comfy?
Reasonably.
Reasonably?
It's very comfortable when I'm racing. It's not so comfortable when I'm not. So right now, it's because I'm not sat in it as it was designed to be used, as it were. It's not the most comfortable for long periods of time, but it's good enough. It's mainly because there's nowhere to put my feet. If my feet aren't on the pedals, they don't go anywhere else naturally.
Yeah, it's not great.
So if you've seen my knee occasionally pop into view, that's why. So yeah, lovely fleshy knee. I don't know why I said that. I don't even know if it was in view when I did that. Oh yeah, vaguely.
This is a family stream, my friend.
Oh, the knee reveal. Check it out.
Yeah. A little bit of ankle.
Oh, here we go. There's the pass.
That was a send.
That was went past him as he wasn't there. Right, how far back is Bryker? Is it?
He's a ways back yet still.
What's going to happen first?
At least another 2 minutes, I think, before it catches her.
Let's get the player focus back up. Tell you what, it's only... I'd forgotten about the Ferrari battle, actually. It's only 5 tenths from Bryker to Sideways. Let's jump back on board with Sideways.
Wasn't Bryker behind Sideways?
Nope. Bryker has consistently been ahead.
Okay. Oh, big side.
Bryker having a Sideways moment in front of Sideways.
Yeah, that was kind of scary.
That was a big moment.
And I see they're now both missing their wings. Not sure.
They have both been missing their wings for a long time.
They call me SFM Observer. Observer, there we go.
Brilliant.
Sideways, his car is just so unsettled looking through this section.
Yeah, I commented on it earlier. This curb on the left, he managed to avoid this time, but he's hit this one a few times as well. Yeah, still using quite a bit of it. That's more than I'd want to use in a... Well, I mean, Bryker using a big bit of the inside curb on that right-hander as well. These curbs in this section are particularly unforgiving, even by the Nordschleife standards, so... Very brave boys to be using those. Very brave drivers. Alright. Half a second back as we go onto the Dottingham. Same car. Get a bit of drafting going. Oh, Bryker's in the grass! That's not going to help his exit.
Place to be in the grass.
It's a long run now, and it's going to be a long, slow drawing towards of P3. This is a fight for the podium positions.
So now we find out who is braver.
Oh yeah, we're inside the 30-foot bubble now. So you're going to be pushing him along. So he pulls out, tries to use the overspeed. I think he stayed towards the bubble a bit long. All of a sudden the momentum has slightly slowed on the outside for the kink, and I think he's backed off of that already. Yeah.
Oh, he thought about it. He thought about it.
Nah. As soon as he was on the outside for the kink, without a full overlap. Oh, and now they approach Red Scarf Bunny as well, who is going to dive into the pits out of the way, very sensibly.
Yeah, that would not have gone well for anyone had they stayed out.
Scored Buffalo is in the pits once again. Going to be... Wait, again? Buffalo stayed out longest earlier.
Yeah, but he had the engine damage.
Oh, so he did. If it was only 3%, I'm surprised he would pit for that though.
Yeah, well, it might have had other damage that we weren't seeing, or it just might have been bugging him.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, we saw just how long it can go, so it might be a case of he can pit to fix it without having to worry about taking an extra stop. He can just use this one as one of his mandatories anyway.
Yeah. And that's going to promote the Ferraris up in a second and third.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see if scored 13 seconds back, so that's a lot less than even half a pit stop, or just under half a pit stop actually. We said it was about 33 seconds.
Something like that, yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens first. I don't think the Ferraris are pitting anytime soon. They've been out for, what, 1 and 2 laps respectively. Be interesting to see if they pit again before Buffalo starts to catch them back up. See how much...
They've got about another 10 minutes to make their final stop. I think there's about 20 or so minutes left.
I hadn't even factored that in. Yes, I'm riding on board with Sideways still, watching Bryker ahead of us. I'm also just keeping an eye on SLS Knockhill. We'll jump on board with him if we can to watch him get through some more lower class traffic, get that class interaction.
Zach just pitted, Coney Rag has just pitted, and LMP Crispy, it looks like stayed out, as did Mr. Sunshine, so they are now back on the same strat. Can we just talk about Griffin for a minute? Because the man is almost a minute ahead of Poping right now.
Yeah, that's quite some lead. We think that Poping has had some sort of issue, but even so,
he's also just pitted. He's at 91% fuel.
Oh wow. Okay, that's really impressive. What happened?
So take that whole narrative I was gonna make, and yeah, no, that's not accurate.
Yeah. Who?
It's still a big gap, but not that big.
Who was driving the Civic in this stint? That Valkyrie was in last stint. Is that one of the disconnected cars?
Yeah, they've been gone for a while.
Shame. Because say that's the other car that would.
The Civic was Renaud, RZM Renaud.
Oh.
He's been gone for like almost the whole stint.
Oh, here we go. Sorry. Yeah. Lots of things happening at once there. Knockhill really closing in on links, and big send into the braking zone. Pretty easy doing, really. But whilst I was looking at that happening, third and fourth, both Ferraris, both having a bit of a moment through Flugplatz, which was, I think they might describe it as a bit of a brown trouser moment.
Well, that's why you wear a brown driver suit, so no one knows.
These are the pro strats we're here for.
Yeah, why do you think so many driver suits are dark?
For that exact reason, obviously. Actually, that's a good question. You'd think they'd be light coloured to help repel heat, considering how hot it gets when you're driving these cars.
Well, I think they have cool suits, though. But
even so, you'd think it'd be every little helps, wouldn't you? Maybe that's why the Stig was so quick.
We'll have to ask.
Ben Collins.
This Week in Sports Cars podcast. Graham Goodwin, Marshall Pruitt. See if they know.
I definitely reckon Ben Collins is better to ask. Pure white suit. Maybe that's why the Stig was so good.
Maybe the lack of dye in the suit, the weight savings contributed to it.
Better weight saving, better heat management. Oh, Breiker's off! Breiker's off, and we've got a change for third. He very much missed all of the apexes in miss hit miss.
Sideways up to second, and now he's gonna have to deal with links in the Mustang.
Yeah, Breiker losing position, but not losing a huge amount of time. Still right on the back of Sideways, only a couple of tenths back, and it is going to get interesting now. Because there's not
an awkward spot.
This is a really awkward spot because you really want to carry the momentum through this corner.
Oh, he's hit him. And, Sideways hit links.
Wasn't significant. It didn't look like too bad from where we were. But Breiker not really capitalising. Needed to really focus on his exit through that corner and kind of didn't.
Well, it looks like he's gotten away with it because he's still in front and he hasn't really lost anything. But that is something that can rattle your confidence for the next couple of corners. Yeah. And considering where they are, this is not the spot to lose that confidence because they're coming up to the carousel. Well,
before that, they're coming up to what I described earlier as my least favourite corner on the track, the big commitment left-hander at the top of this section, where we saw 3 wide earlier, actually. Oh! Breiker's hit the horrible curb and in the wall again. That's twice in the space of, like, one sector of the track. Oh,
I think he's gotten away with it, though.
I was going to say, if I can stop hiccuping for a minute, just checking the damage. Doesn't look like he's got anything. Just, a couple of light taps on the wall. And scored Buffalo, only 10 seconds behind Breiker now. That's down 3 seconds this lap already.
Yeah, he's reeled him in. I mean, it's not fast, but it's happening.
Oh yeah, I'd say another 3 laps and he'll be right on them, potentially even less.
And next on the chopping block for SPX to deal with is Mr. Danzilla in the Focus. Only a few corners ahead of overall leader Knockhill at this point.
Knockhill will have to really focus to get past Danzilla cleanly.
I hate you so much. You know, when he gets through, he's going to have a little fiesta. In his car.
Oh, one was enough. Ted, stop it. He's already dead.
Come on, I'm the explorer.
Oh, what are you exploring for? Are you going hunting for pumas and cougars?
No, I'm hunting broncos. Alright, I'm gonna stop now.
Not Mustangs.
Jim, we have to stop. The silent laughter just kills me.
Oh,
this is why we can't be left unsupervised.
Yeah, this is where Ben needs to step back in.
Yeah. I mean, it's only, what, 10:30 for you?
It is precisely 10:30, and it is in the wall, and that was close with the rejoin. Yeah, so that particular full commitment fast section with the big curbs, where I kept saying Sideways was using too much curb, finally bit him on this lap. Bounced off the wall, back onto the track, just about kept it on the left-hand side, and Bryker went full commitment on the right-hand side to get back up into second.
And breathe.
Yeah, and say, all that, Buffalo now only 8 seconds off of Sideways.
It's like the theme from Jaws, just da-da, da-da, da-da.
Yeah.
It's coming. And, Danzilla, you are on notice, my friend, because Knockhill is going to catch you in just a moment.
Yeah, I've been holding the player focus thing over Knockhill, so when I can see Danzilla on the map, we'll jump back and see some more class interaction. Oh, he's in the pits. Is that Danzilla in the pits?
I think it might be, yeah.
So much for class interaction.
It's okay, though, because the next driver on the chopping block is
both Ferraris in the pits,
who is also not that far away from Knockhill.
Did
Knockhill just pit? No,
yeah,
he didn't.
No.
Okay.
Is that Poping just... or was that Griffin exiting the GP loop?
Griffin is still on the GP loop, approaching the final chicane.
Maybe I've got my
Poping
zoomed-in map a bit wrong.
Just coming out of Schumacher now. Or coming up to Schumacher.
I literally have the map here. I could just go and have a look. So there's Griffin, just come out the final chicane. There's Poping, just heading down towards the final chicane. There's Danzilla having rejoined the GP loop. So if we now go back up to Knockhill, who is now going around the corner we saw Poping go around. So yeah, not
this is where the action's going to be.
Actually, we have scored Buffalo coming up to...
Gord's up to second, right? Because he didn't pit on the same lap as those guys.
Yeah. So I was trying to change to score Buffalo. He's coming up to lap Danzilla and catching him in a really quite awkward spot there.
Massively held up there.
Go around the outside here. Yeah, I think Danzilla lifted a little early for the second part of that. But yeah, that will certainly have cost Buffalo a little bit of time. Not the end of the world, but never nice.
And it does bear reminding, the lower class is entitled to their appropriate line of choice. They can't weave all over the place, but if they have the racing line, it's theirs. It's up to the fast guys to get through. So.
The gap from Bryker to Sideways is now almost 3 seconds. That's the biggest finish in a long time.
Stop.
Oh yeah, because they came into the pits together, didn't they?
And I now see Lynx being overtaken by Bryker.
Yep, riding on board for that one.
Sideways is going to have to deal with them on the Nordschleife, which is infinitely harder.
Yeah, so Bryker got a little bit lucky there, just doing him into the braking zone, or the biggest braking zone on the GP section. Which is always a nice place to do it. Nice wide section of track there as well, especially compared to all of the Nordschleife. But it's not going to be as easy for Sideways.
And I think you should be able to get him at least before Flugplatz, so it shouldn't be too much of a time loss, but that's going to be annoying him.
This is going to be... He's got enough over speed, or there was a little bit of a wobble there. That made me slightly nervous, just mid-overtake.
It was all very controlled. I think he did a pretty decent job there of keeping that respectful.
But in all of that, he's lost another half second to Bryker. Gap's up to 3.4.
Well, I mean, yeah, I think it balances out mostly, but he is going to be livid right now because he's only got about 12 minutes left.
Yeah, and so
that's like a lap and a third.
Not that long ago, he was ahead of Bryker.
And Poping is about to be overtaken by our race leader, I believe.
Once again, I'm on board with you. I'm already on board with Knockhill. I'd literally just changed before you said that.
So, because of the nature of doing this with two commentators without using screen share. I have Jam's stream pulled up next to me, but it's like 8 seconds delayed, so I have to kind of guess what he's gonna do.
It's the best way of doing it. Keeps it fresh. Right, here we go into miss hit miss. This is really not a place you want to. Yeah, Knockhill being very cautious. Ooh, nipping up the inside on the last apex there. That was.
Hoping almost died there.
It worked perfectly well, but he wasn't quite as cautious throughout the whole section like I thought he was going to be when we jumped on board with him.
You called this section what? Miss, hit, miss?
Yeah, is that not what everyone calls it that? I'm on board with Buffalo now, right? Because you miss that apex, hit that one, and then miss that one. At least that's the idea.
I've never heard it called that before.
Really? I thought that was like...
I've actually never heard it given any specific name before.
I don't know if it's got a proper name that isn't miss, hit, miss, but that's... I thought that's what it was just called.
Alright, we have the technology. I'm going to go to a website called racingcircuits.info, which TORA is not affiliated with, and take a look.
While you're doing that, we've got some more class interaction going on. First of all, we have Bradders coming up to lap LMP links. Going to be happening just before miss hit miss. Oh, that was pinching it a little bit tight on the left-hander. But you know, he got through cleanly, so no problem. And then we're going to jump up to Sideways, who is closed in to now only 1.5 behind Bryker. And these guys are both catching up with, I think, Poping, maybe Danzilla. Might be Danzilla.
Yeah, I looked and I did not see a name associated with that corner.
Interesting. I mean, you're also talking to the person that made up their own corner names for all the corners on VIR when it came out as Forza 6 DLC, because we couldn't be bothered to look up the real ones. Mine are better.
Yeah, there's a couple of leagues I'm in that have done that with various tracks. I know Spa has some funny names, Bathurst as well.
I would say Spa's like one of the most famous tracks with famous corner names. That's the worst one to rename.
Like the irreverent satirical names that they came up with for it.
Right. Who was it that used to do the track guides? Was that
Russell?
Yeah.
Cathox.
Yeah.
With Heck and Mume.
Danzilla on the grass a little bit there. Once again, Bryker getting a much nicer run past the lower class traffic.
Sideways lost at least 3/4 of a second just from that one braking zone. That is brutal.
Yeah. Getting the overtaking done in a braking zone is always the optimal way of doing it. And
did he fall out of the carousel at the end?
No, he got his inside tyres on the flat section and just got him a little loose, and all of a sudden he's saying lost about a second in all that.
That just looked kind of strange.
Oh, we have some more class interaction coming up with Knockhill closing down. It's leader on leader. It's Knockhill closing in on Griffin. Griffin off the track. That was
well. That made it
nice and easy. Little bit of a tiny bit of trepidation there, just as Griffin was rejoining the track, just as Knockhill went past. But yeah, nothing.
You know, we don't really talk about Griffin as much when ESV comes into the conversation because he tends to shy away from the faster classes. It's rare to see him make a mistake. Like, it just doesn't happen organically. I wonder what happened there.
Well, it was that section that we kept talking about with Sideways. So I wonder if one of the massive curbs sort of bit him a little bit.
You know, I think Poping is about to be overtaken by a pair of Ferraris, Jim.
Oh, really? I'm currently on board with Zach the One, who is coming up fast on... who's in the Mustang again? I've forgotten who's in the Mustang.
Lynx.
Lynx, there we go. How close are the Ferraris?
Pretty close, I thought. No, you're right. I misread it.
Buffalo's just passed someone on the Dottingham. Nice easy move in a big long straight line. And here we go with Bradders past Lynx over the jump up the inside. That's an interesting place. I would have thought Lynx would have backed out of that a little bit earlier once Bradders had got to the inside, but yikes, that was a little bit on the tight side. Looks like Zach's previously... Oh, is it Zach we're on board with? No. Yeah, it is.
Bradders was asked how brave he wanted to be and simply responded with, "I'm a sand." Oh, Denzilla's got a problem.
Oh,
He's
really?
very, very slow. Dead stick.
Oh, dear.
Well, what the heck is going on here? He's just
I don't want to...
bouncing all over the place. Wall, wall, wall. Gonna hit a wall again. What is he doing?
Has he got damage?
No. He's just ping-ponging himself. What in the world is going on?
I wonder if his screen's gone off or something and he's just trying to keep going.
That was weird.
He's got someone flying up behind him. It's Zach the one in the R8. I have to ask him about that.
He's got it back going now, but...
That was an odd one.
That was weird. I am at a loss. I have no idea why he would do that. It looks okay now, but...
Well, he's on a long straight now.
Yeah, but he's in control again.
No, he's not.
Oh, God. What is happening?
And yet still, no damage.
Straight in the wall. What? I'm wondering if he's maybe lost vibration?
Oh, Link's really put off by that. Just about held it.
I'm thinking Danzilla may come into the pit lane here.
You think?
Cause what? Is he driving with a keyboard?
I don't know. He's not coming into the pits.
Alright, I'm gonna find out, because this is just too weird.
You go and... Well,
I'm gonna do pit reporter things.
Yeah, you go see if he's alright. So even that looked smooth, but very interesting. What I really want to know is, how did he do that and not get damage? Off the back straight, close to VMAX, into the metal barrier, head on into the tyre bundle, no damage. Mental.
I have an answer.
Yes.
The theory in the lobby is that because it's the pitch black skybox and Danzilla does not have headlights, he has no idea where he's going right now.
It doesn't look that dark though in the replays. In the spectate cam. Is it darker for them on track?
It's pitch black for them.
I would say because APR Sideways doesn't have any headlights either.
Yeah, but he might have the track limits turned on.
Certainly possible. Definitely have to ask Danzilla about that at the end of the stint.
Yeah. Also, there's about just under 3 minutes remaining. So
is there really?
We were pretty close with our timing guess.
Oh, Buffalo just about to overtake Griffin on the exit of that corner. That's that's pretty easy. Might have been held up a little bit mid-corner, but nothing drastic.
I don't think Griffin would have even had to do anything differently there, honestly. Just keep doing what he's doing.
A bit of trepidation. Who knows? Still 3.2 seconds behind the Ferraris, between the Ferraris now. It's such a shame that those two have had a couple of issues each. So constantly running really close, but say 3.4 now. Just about the biggest it's been, really.
And they definitely provided us with a lot of entertainment.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I am very happy that I've been able to watch a pair of Ferraris for most of the stint. And as you say, they've certainly made it. They've absolutely made it entertaining for us. And just one more little bit of entertainment coming up as well as they come up to, I think, lap Poping.
Yeah, that'd be Poping. I think.
We'll soon find out.
You know, Poping, if we thought he was going to be significantly further back than he is, he's only 19 seconds off Griffin. So, yeah, he was saving fuel, but it doesn't seem to have really cost him all that much time in the grand scheme of things.
Speaking of, as we think they're, on their last lap now, maybe?
They have to be on the last lap now, yeah.
How much fuel has he got?
Poping? Let's find out. 38, so he's fine.
Okay. So he would probably have to pit this lap if we were carrying on. Oh, that's a big slide from him through there. Was he using the handbrake?
I think he must have gripped the handbrake by accident.
I remember gripping the handbrake by accident in a TASCAR race once and letting you through at the last corner at Road America.
Oh god. Yeah, I mean, NASCAR does not like the handbrake very much. They don't tend to react well to that.
Oh, moving around a little bit there. That was not as predictable as it could have been. Still, nothing doing really. What? That looks like a bigger gap than I thought it was going to be. How much is that gap now? 3.8 back to sideways from Bryker.
Also, as soon as this is over, I'm going to have to go and take down the distances. So before I go, thank you, Jam, for letting me join you in our impromptu stream today.
Thank you for joining me, because as I said to Ben in the last thing I wanted was to sit here on my own for 4 hours and slowly descend into madness.
Nah, you'll be fine. I don't know if I really kept you sane at all, but I'd like to think we at least had a good time.
At the very least, it was more entertaining, yeah.
Well, not kill. I wouldn't say surprise of the day, but a very stellar performance from a team we don't normally see at this high up the grid. SLS.
Not kill is just as he comes to the stop there to win the one of the best in touring cars, especially the front wheel drive stuff. So no real surprise to see him doing so well in the front wheel drive Audi TT. You go get the results then, Ted, and I'll just do a quick run through and then I'll head off myself.
Alrighty, let's do this thing.
So winning the stint we have on your screen. Can I go to? I'm going to try and do a fancy thing. Can we do a helicopter? No. Where's the slow spin? There we go. Get that off. So, winning the stint, we have this guy, SLS Knockhill. In second place, we have Scored Buffalo. Unsurprisingly, a BMW, doing very well in the M6. Third place, we have first of the Ferrari pair, GPR Bryker, who was essentially fighting the entire stint with APR Sideways, who just came up a few seconds short at the end with one. Oh, that's a lot closer than I thought it was going to be, considering it was about 3 seconds. You don't want to be moving there, Sideways. Not sure what that's about. That's a little cheeky if you haven't given your result yet. Next up, we have Bradders, who has decided to finish the race in the wall. P5 in SPX. Oh, what a lovely view of the right-hand side of that car. In P6, we have the second of the two Audis. So we have the two Ferraris next to each other, then the two Audis next to each other. Then we have LMP Crispy, who we saw have quite the accident early on. So P7, good result after that. Mr. Sunshine, likewise. P8, again, lovely view of the left-hand side of the car. Having to pit on lap 1, which was a real setback. So just not being last in the stint in the class was quite the achievement. Good comeback drive from him. And once again, to borrow Ted's phrase, the caboose of the class was another Ferrari, Coney Rags. Another very nice paint job on this one. I do like that. So moving into SPT then, the not really spoken about Griffin. Trying to sing his praises every time we do, because he's driven a fantastic stint. But he was so far out on his own, we never really spoke about him, because all the entertainment was behind him. Largely with curiosity surrounding our second place finisher, RZM Poping, who we think might have had an incident, definitely appeared to be saving fuel at some points. So, not sure quite what happened, but a solid P2 potentially recovery drive nonetheless. And on the third place in the podium was LMP Lynx. And I'm not going to lie, I'm slightly surprised about that. We saw Lynx a couple of times, never really involved in anything. I was a little bit surprised he's as high as third. That's a really, really solid drive. I don't know who I was expecting to be higher, but yeah, Mustang not really involved in anything, just solid stint. P4 from Danzilla, we saw, I think, fighting with Poping at one point, or was that when they were off cycle? And then some very odd behaviour towards the end, but still finishing up with a P4. And finally, in the lobby, we have the not Need for Speed car driven by Red Scarf Bunny for P14. And that is all of the finishers. We then also had APR White. Who were the others? RZM Renault and DOR Charlie all start, but unfortunately not finish this stint. 3 lag outs is still a 3 too many, but I guess at least it was better than the previous stint. But that is going to be it for my stream today. I can't believe I've been doing this for nearly 4 hours now. It's absolutely flown by. So thank you everyone that has watched. Massive thank you to Ben and Ted for joining me in the booth. And I've genuinely enjoyed this more than I thought I would. So, new Forza game, I might have found a new job for myself. But anyway, thank you very much for watching. And until the next time, goodbye.